Cheating fiancée lied about an affair, then claimed it was a test, so I broke up with her, part 2. Quick reminder, this is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, watch it first for full context. It's linked in the description. Now let's dive back in. Update. It's been a few weeks since everything exploded and I figured it was time for an update because, somehow, this situation managed to get even more surreal. After we started moving toward dividing the house, the animals, and our stuff, Madison's tone changed. Fast. The woman who once said she needed space and wasn't sure what she wanted started hovering again. She'd linger in the kitchen when I was making coffee, try to chat while I was watching TV, and ask how my day went like nothing had happened. It was subtle at first. Then it became something else entirely. One evening she knocked on my bedroom door and asked if we could talk. I hesitated but eventually said okay. She sat across from me on the edge of the bed and gave me this big speech about how we've come so far and how we shouldn't throw away 7 years over a mistake. Her words sounded rehearsed. Almost like something you'd hear in a rom-com, just without the music or the sincerity. She said she missed me, that she'd been confused, that it wasn't serious with the other guy. Quick reminder, this is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, watch it first for full context. It's linked in the description. Now let's dive back in. Update. It's been a few weeks since everything exploded and I figured it was time for an update because, somehow, this situation managed to get even more surreal. After we started moving toward dividing the house, the animals, and our stuff, Madison's tone changed. Fast. The woman who once said she needed space and wasn't sure what she wanted started hovering again. She'd linger in the kitchen when I was making coffee, try to chat while I was watching TV, and ask how my day went like nothing had happened. It was subtle at first. Then it became something else entirely. One evening she knocked on my bedroom door and asked if we could talk. I hesitated but eventually said okay. She sat across from me on the edge of the bed and gave me this big speech about how we've come so far and how we shouldn't throw away 7 years over a mistake. Her words sounded rehearsed. Almost like something you'd hear in a rom-com, just without the music or the sincerity. She said she missed me, that she'd been confused, that it wasn't serious with the other guy and had never gone all the way. I asked her, then why did you text him all those things? Why did you lie to me repeatedly and then blame me for it? She got quiet. Like she didn't expect me to challenge the narrative she was building. The truth is, she didn't miss me. She missed the comfort, the routine, the guy who handled the bills, walked the dogs, and loved her unconditionally even when he was hurting. When she realized I wasn't jumping to fix things, she shifted again. Started guilt-tripping. You told everyone. Your friends, your family, they all hate me now. How are we supposed to work through this if I'm already labeled the villain? I told her that actions have consequences and being uncomfortable with those consequences doesn't erase what she did. That night was the turning point. She stopped trying to win me back after that. She knew it was over. But in a strange twist, I also realized something. The more distance I created, the more clearly I saw how one-sided our relationship had been. I was always the fixer, the planner, the steady one. And she? She was the chaos I kept trying to organize. I've been pouring my energy into myself lately. Hitting the gym daily. Journaling. Working on my business like never before. I even started seeing a therapist, and for the first time in years I'm not walking on eggshells in my own home. A couple of days ago, I moved half of our joint savings into a separate account. I calculated what I contributed and left her what she was owed, no less, no more. She didn't even argue. I think deep down she knew she'd taken more than just money from me already. The house? Still in limbo. We're working with a real estate agent, but she's being picky about every little thing. At this point, I don't care how it ends, I just want out. And the dogs? She's decided to take all 3 after all. I offered to take one, but she insisted on keeping them together. It stung, but maybe it's for the best. I need a clean slate. This is it, the part where the life I spent years building finally came to an end. It didn't end with fireworks or screaming matches. No dramatic door slams. Just boxes, silence, and a final set of keys left on the counter. Madison moved out last weekend. We had set a move-out date weeks ago after agreeing she'd take the dogs and a portion of the house proceeds. She'd found a small rental in a less-than-ideal part of town, but it had a backyard. That was her main requirement for the dogs. I didn't fight it. I just wanted peace. In the days leading up to the move, she barely spoke to me. Not that I minded, by then I was mentally checked out. We were 2 people simply coexisting, waiting for a clock to run out. I could tell she was nervous. Maybe not about leaving, but about what came after. Reality doesn't hit until you pack your things and realize the safety net is gone. She left in the early afternoon on a Saturday. I helped carry out a few boxes, not for her, but for closure. For myself. When everything was loaded, she turned to me and for a second I thought she might say something. An apology. A memory. Anything. But instead, she just said, "Take care of yourself." And then she left. The silence that followed was both devastating and healing. That house, once full of tension and confusion, now echoed with emptiness. No barking dogs. No late-night arguments. Just stillness. I sat on the floor of the empty living room for hours that night. At first, it hurt. Then, it didn't. I started making plans. Concrete, tangible steps forward. I contacted a financial advisor to finalize buying out the house. I created a list of updates I'd always wanted to do. I planted new flowers in the yard. I rearranged the bedroom furniture. Little things, but symbolic ones. The past few weeks have been oddly empowering. I've reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in years. I've started dating again, nothing serious, just coffee and conversation. It's been refreshing. One woman I've seen a few times now has been through something similar, and talking to her has been like opening a window in a stuffy room. Madison? We haven't spoken. The communication ended when she walked out that door, and I don't plan to reignite it. I don't need closure from her. I already got it from myself. I thought I'd be crushed when she left, but instead I felt something else, relief. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from the life you thought you wanted and make space for the one you deserve. Update. It's been a few months since Madison moved out, and in that time, something unexpected happened. I started living again. The silence that used to haunt me? Now it's peace. The emptiness I once feared in this house? It's become freedom. Every corner that used to carry a memory of us has slowly been filled with something new, something mine. The house has changed. I repainted the walls. Switched out the furniture. Turned what used to be her office into a home gym. I adopted a new dog, a rescue, older and mellow, but he follows me everywhere like we've known each other forever. Something is healing in his quiet loyalty. Madison's name hasn't come up in a while, even in my own head. I don't wonder what she's doing or who she's with. I don't scroll through old texts. I don't replay our arguments in my mind. That's not my life anymore. And that's the most powerful part. I don't miss her. I've stayed consistent with therapy, and it's helped more than I ever imagined. I've learned how to speak up for myself, how to set boundaries, how to recognize red flags and not paint them beige. More importantly, I've learned how to forgive myself for ignoring what I shouldn't have, for trying to fix what was already broken. Financially, things are solid. I bought out her share of the house. I built up my business and surpassed goals I used to think were out of reach. And emotionally? I'm in a place I never thought I'd reach so soon: peace, clarity, and even optimism. I'm still seeing someone casually. No pressure. No expectations. She's kind, grounded, and emotionally intelligent, things I never truly appreciated before. We talk openly, and even though I'm taking it slow, I feel a kind of safety I never knew I needed. Looking back, I realize I was clinging to a version of love that looked stable on the outside but was deeply unbalanced underneath. I stayed because it was familiar. Because I didn't want to let go of the future we planned. But sometimes, the future you thought you wanted is the very thing holding you back. I know this isn't some fairy tale ending. There are still hard days. I still miss the dogs sometimes. I still get gut-punched by memories at odd times. But I'm okay now. More than okay, I'm growing. Hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. Help this small channel grow by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Every bit of support means the world. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.